believe the deadline is October 1st, October 3rd. I'm sure Shola talked about it before. He'll talk about it again. If you are on the fence about applying, please do so. It can be a pretty transformative experience for your company.
Yeah, so we'll take questions now. We can take as many questions as possible. So we try to keep the event short so that we can take as many questions. And the questions can be in any direction, so no worries. Go.
Like I said, my name is Mary Obaye. Just before today, my company is already using Paystack. And we heard about Y Combinator, so we've already sent in our application before I saw the message concerning this meetup. So I'm interested, why? Because I want to know what the African, like he said just now, that there's an African group and that is really strong. So what kind of help can you do for people who have already applied? Is there some kind of leverage you can help out with to make sure we win from this side?
I wish. So it's very difficult to run it. But having said that, we are happy to help you review your application. I think one of the problems, and which we'll talk about, so I guess I'm going to re-ask the question, which is, how can we help people get into YC? One of the things we can do is help you clarify, help you make it easy for the people reviewing your application to understand what you're saying. Because when you're from Nigeria and you're typing, you maybe might not remember that the person reading it has never gone out of, I've never been to Africa, doesn't know what Okada is, doesn't know, like, so when you start writing some of those things and they're reading it and they don't understand, of course, it's very hard to get in. So we are always happy to help review your application to say, okay, this is bad, this is correct, can you change this? What is, also help you clarify or make sure that your story is compelling enough, because there are multiple ways to say the same thing. So, so if you say it to us, we can tell you, change it around. So I think that's one of the things I think we can do to help there.
Yeah, so sometime last week, we had a call with one of the partners at YC, because it matters a lot to them that people know in advance what they need to do, right? It's not like a university exam where you have no idea what you need to do. It really matters to them that people understand. So our question to them was, what's the one mistake they see people make again and again and again? And the very immediate answer was, that very first question, describing your business. They immediately see people just miss the plots. For multiple reasons. If you're working on something for a while, it's your baby, right? You understand the industry completely. Like, you know what all the acronyms mean. Like Shola mentioned, like, if you're working on payments, you talk about NIBS. What is NIBS, right? Like, forgetting to just clarify, but also there's the misperception that you need to perform industry expertise, and so people use very big words. People they complexify what they are doing. If what you are doing is a photo sharing app, say we are doing a photo sharing app. Don't talk about revolutionizing the photo pictographic, right? There's a time and place for really getting into the weeds, but your job for the application is to explain what you're doing as simply as possible. So that her very immediate feedback was, don't attempt to form like you are exactly.
Okay, so I think my question is going to be, first of all, my name is Simi Ajayi. I work for a company called Seed Money. And my question is going to be very similar to...
A company called what?
Seed Money. Okay. So my question is going to be very similar to what she asked and what he asked. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's how do you edit your Y Combinator messages, application, such that it gets accepted.
Yeah, I think this was a live case study. There was no way that first pitch would have been accepted, except maybe a miracle. But But the last pitch is clearer, So I think, like Emmanuel has said, like everybody has said, it's just clarifying it so that people can. You're not explaining to people. You're just telling them this is what I am.
So
and they have to get it.
So is there any organized way in which you are attempting to help those of us who are here?
That's very organized.
Yes. So
this is one of the organization.
A level of organization.
The other thing we've done
higher than this.
Okay, the multiple things we've done. The first thing we've done is we released our own YC application, which is just see.
Okay, I use it as a
successful. You don't have to use it as a template, but just see what something looks like. So we did that last year. We're running an event like this now, so we can just answer the questions real time. And I think those are two big things we're trying to do.
Okay. Another question. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. Another question is, it occurred to me while you were speaking that you already had product market fit to some level before you applied.
We're just getting to product market fit now, but I had access to I had interactions with customers. So not product market fit, but I knew what I wanted to do. I had people that said they were going to use it. And
to what level? So let's assume the YC Combinator thing never happened.
Yeah, we would have continued, exactly.
And did you think you would have been profitable?
We would have been, because we had, like I said, I had 300 people on the wait list that wanted to use my software.
Okay.
So maybe I would have killed myself in made some big mistakes that I might not be able to recover for, and maybe YC helped us with that. Also, YC gave us 120K that was helpful, so we had to focus. We could pay people to join us and help us move faster, But I think the fundamental idea was we knew that we could figure out payments, and there were people that were looking for people that will help them figure out payments. So we were making something people wanted.
So even before you applied?
Yes, exactly.
So last question, did your fundamental idea, did it change considerably?
No, it hasn't changed.
Same thing,
even
before you got to YC?
It hasn't changed, but I've seen companies repackage after YC, so you're doing the same thing, but the way you now do it can change.
Okay, all right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just add in very quickly? I would really recommend that everyone take advantage of this community. These are all either business owners or people working on an interesting idea. Pitch your idea to everyone. If you give your one sentence and the person is confused, and that happens 5-10 times, then you know you have a problem. We'll just give you a yes or no. We won't do it to the extent that. Yeah.
So we can do that. We want to end this at 2:00. So we have 2 hours.
Okay. So basically, what we do is we allow anybody from anywhere in the world to buy agricultural produce from West Africa, Nigeria specifically, and we buy for you when prices are cheap, and we store. And then we sell when prices are high. And we take a commission on profit. So basically what we are doing is we have a platform or a web app that allows you to invest in Nigerian agric from anywhere in the world. That's it.
Okay. I like the second. Okay, you wanted to say, sorry.
No, I was going to say that there were 3 sentences.
Yes.
The first 2 seemed like rehearsals for the last one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But it was pretty.
And the last one can be better, because you said we allow people invest in Nigerian farm. So I think you have to sneak in something there to make it look like this is a big deal. Like we allow people invest in Nigerian produce because they are blah 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 blah. Exactly. Okay. So right. Thanks.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention is please don't overestimate the extent to where we were before we applied to YC. So I think
exactly.
Was it $600 a month or $600 period?
Total? Yeah, exactly. Total.
Like we had transacted a whopping total of $600 when we applied to YC, right? like we $600 we applied to YC. But like what YC is looking at is potential. Have you done the harder work of talking to people, understanding the problem, right? That's the thing that's more attractive. And please, let's not make the mistake for assuming that the requirement for making it past the application stages is confusing. Like YC is very clear. They want to see, do these people have the ability to build this thing?
Exactly.
Right? Is they technical someone?
Exactly.
Have they known each other long enough to ensure that they can withstand whatever co-founder conflict emerges? Have they talked to potential customers or partners? It's a very simple list.
So we built a prototype, very scrappy. We use Google Calendar to track what people do hourly, and we use Google Sheets for analytics. And actually, some people actually paid. Should I say, we made up close to ₦1 million, charging people to use the prototype and stuff. So basically, we're proving it. The question I have is like, how did you guys find each other? Because I'm actually right now looking for a technical co-founder. I was thinking of using a developer to build the product. Actually, right now we're in product design stage. But I'm also in the YC startup school. And people are like, you should likely wait to find a technical co-founder. There's a high possibility that there's not going to be continuity after the developers are done. So how do you find the...
Okay, so the first question, we went to school together. Who said that? Oh, yeah, exactly. So we went to school together. We lived together after school, and we've been friends for a long time, so yes. And he had tried to do something around payments before, so I knew that he was very interested in payments and all that, yeah.
But for someone who doesn't have someone that's...
Exactly, which is very interesting. So I think it still comes down to finding if you. So can we remember what it does?
No. Data analytics for optimum living.
But I heard something around Google Analytics, time tracking, data analytics. Okay, I didn't.
So basically, we are creating an app.
No, I want someone else to tell us what.
Okay.
Do you want to tell us, Ezra? Let me start with Ezra.
Okay. So why it got was you track like their daily routine or something, and then you basically you get that information from their calendar, right?
So they get insights. So they get insights about how you spend the day,
and then you do the
to help you make
analytics
better decisions going forward that will enable you maximize your potential without sacrificing your health and well-being.
That's it. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. So I think that can be clearly better.
Okay.
But the answer to Emmanuel's question, like if you don't have access to a developer, like how do you find a technical co-founder? To be honest, I don't know. It depends on where you are, what you do. I think being in communities is very interesting. So I know there was a time to say, till now actually, like being in communities where developers hang out and just spending time building relationships, I think that's helpful. Looking through your network and saying who are the most impressive people I know in my network, and trying to talk to them and sell them the idea is also very interesting. And I think those are some of the things I've seen. It's always very difficult, I would say, but I think your work as a founder is also to be able to figure some of these things out. But saying that, also, I think you're making progress. Like, trying to make as much progress as possible is also helpful. So you don't necessarily have to sit down and wait for a developer. Like, if you can hack Google Forms, all those things together and make progress, so that when you're selling this to your friend that works at Microsoft, like, guy, you can quit your job. This thing, people are using it. You know, you have things to say. You know, so so I would say continue to make as much progress as you can, but think about your network. Be involved in communities where developers operate. I don't know. Does any other person have any answer to that? Because I feel like.
Okay, so in connection to that, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously I realized you guys met each other.
Yes.
From, you know. So actually I studied in the US, so I don't
Better.
know. Maybe I should try to find someone there.
Yeah.
Also, the product, I have a feeling that is for developed nations because of it's something that is solving the problem higher up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
Not the basic needs, the more of the higher needs and stuff. And so I think maybe it's a product that we should maybe focus first for the maybe American market. So maybe I should go back to my school colleagues and try to find someone among them, and maybe even stay there to build it right there, or try to get the person to come down. I really don't know.
I'll say maybe just find the first 10 people that will use it happily. So no maybes, just 10. Who are the 10 people that can make their lives easier, that can maximize their data analytics and So just find your first 10 customers wherever they are. If you can find them here, better. If you can't find them here, wherever you can find them, better. And then once you can make those 10 people, once you can solve a problem for those 10 people, you can scale it to 100, you can scale it to 1,000, and all. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Bolaji, sir. Okay, after this, maybe you switch. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Shola, yes, I get your mails a lot, and I appreciate that. Shola, yeah, that was the last one. When I saw the open $8 million,
thank you.
That you guys raised, I said I had to be here. So pretty much the question that was on my mind is what he asked. For me, I'm not a technical person. I work in the health space, healthcare industry, and it's just difficult to find developers. I mean, I've had experiences of working with no less than 4 Nigerian developers. Maybe it's the people that I find, and they are not as reliable as I wanted them. They stop work at some point, just disjointed things. Now, you try and, of course, you have mega means right now. Of course, you don't want to spend all your salary on developing something that is just an idea stage. Now you go to Fiverr, another problem. They don't speak well. Those Indians, you don't understand their English. They stop your job at some point. So it's just really difficult. So I just think, if there can be a brainstorming session, if you could help us as well, groups of developers, build something else where professionals can meet developers. Because I've seen a couple of developers. I work in the healthcare, health insurance, basically, HMO. And I've seen developers come to me and ask me questions, and they're trying to do stuff that cannot work. As in, I've been around the industry for 5 years. I have a better idea. I just know, because this is my industry, that this is not going to work. Since 1999 till now, we've just covered about 5%, 7% of the population. That there's a reason for that. And when you come with an idea that you just feel this is probably not going to work. Now, but when you tell them, oh, let's do this thing together, you kind of feel developers like to go alone. So why do we need you? Give us the information and we're going to build this thing. So if there's any way, like he has asked, I would really appreciate that.
Okay, so just since, don't worry, so we have time, so it's fine. But I wanted to just, since the conversation is here, are there developers here? Yes. Okay, so can we, I'll ask them first, but can we, can we respond to that question? How should non-technical people find developers, and how should developers find non-technical people? I don't know if anybody starts.
So I'm actually very curious to hear Ezra's response, but for mine, there's something in how you framed it that I think might be contributing to the issue. It feels like a very transactional relationship where I'm looking for a developer to build my thing. When this very early stage, so like the reason why YC is so insistent on ensuring that there is a technical someone on the team is because in the very early stage of a startup, the rate of learning is very high. So your ideas and your implementation will change on an hourly, daily, weekly basis. And so that's why you can't outsource it, right? You need someone who is learning it with you. In this early stage, the developer needs to be a friend, a confidant, a person who buys into the vision. So, and that does make your life any easier, I understand. But looking for almost like a handyman, or like a plumber to come and just do the thing, that fundamentally is the issue. And if like developer is also a person who has feelings and ambitions and hopes and dreams, like part of the hard work of being a CEO or a founder is getting another human being to buy into their vision. So I feel like the first thing is, how do I get a skilled person, a skilled talented person to buy into my vision, to build this thing with me?
Yeah. Yeah. What Emmanuel said, when you like identify that part of it, seemed like very transactional. Like as you were talking, the first thing that came to mind as well was how I feel you should be working more towards like trying to build a relationship and create a friendship of some sort. Where you guys have like a common baseline and then can now like try to think things up from there. Most of the successful companies with co-founders that I've seen actually like people who like absolutely trust themselves and have been friends. Like I don't think I know anybody right now. It's like, oh, okay, we co-founded this company and we met like some months ago and all of that. Like there are probably stories like that, but I'm going to assume like they are very rare because all the examples I have are people who have actually like met. They've established a level of friendship and a level of understanding between each other, and then that's why when the business person or even the technical person or wherever comes up with an idea and they say, oh, let's do this and everything, they can actually like think through it together and anyway, yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
My name is Sheriff Shito. Before I speak about my name, just chip in on that. So what's most important in the startup is actually, what are you selling? What value are you providing? You realize that, you probably just need Google Form to start or another stuff, So once you're able to clearly solve that problem and have your customer, and then you'll be able to sell it more to the customer and to the developer by saying, guy, leave your job, I'm going to pay you certain amounts because it's an opportunity cost. If he's not going to do something else and you ask him to come, what are you paying? Because at the end of the day, passion, you can't take passion to the bank. And, so that's very important. And after that, like they said, you have to invest in the relationship. You see people who jump onto your idea and 3 months down the line, say, oh, God, I realize it's not going to work. You need people that would be there with you and then they go along with all that. Yeah, so my name is Sheriff Shito again and I work for GetDev. So what we do at GetDev is actually solve problems like what you have. We help companies to search and access and also hire developers. So we're like rank plus for developers. So my specific problem and question is that I've had a couple of people apply to YC and they got it in time. They were accepted, shortlisted. And then the gatekeepers at VI, the embassy, they didn't give them visa. And they had to pass it on. So the question is, how do you hack the visa process? And then, I've been there sometimes, and you see them, like, what side of the bed did you wake up from? And then, why will you reject this? So how do you hack that process? Because before you face the panel, you have to pass through them. What are the stories you need to tell the guys? Make them know that, hey, you're not going to run away, whatever it's going to be.
So you're correct. First time when I was telling the story, when they called us, when we got that email and they said we should come to California next year, called Ezra. Oh, Ezra, we're going. After I was excited, Ezra was like, my passport has expired. So you had to go and get a passport first. And then get a visa. And then we had to go through that. But we also had to call. So I think Benga Sheson, introduced me to Benga Sheson. Benga reached out to his contacts there, and we did that. So, and in the last, like you said, in the last 2 years, I've seen about 10 or 12 of those stories. So I think one of the things, there's an ecosystem. So there's an ecosystem of people that can be connected. So I would say, I don't think you should worry about that too much. If you get invited, that's good. We would just escalate to me. We will connect you with the people we know that can help you figure it out. Yes, that's the answer.
Good afternoon, everybody. Fem is my name. I have a contribution and a question. My contribution is I suggest that the questions on the application form, maybe we should work on them together, like expected answers for every question. So if you have like a slide, so for this one, this question, this is how you should explain the idea, just like a brief summary.
Okay. People don't agree, which I don't agree. Because it's very complicated. Like different businesses are different. And like I said, that's why I threw out my own application. So my application is up. There are about 3 or 4 more applications that are public.
We'll follow up. So
okay, we'll send an email.
Exactly. We'll send an email with after this event, probably it's on Monday, with a video of this event, and then all the resources that we've talked about, we'll link to them.
All the things I said on the video. Okay, so now I've been transactional.
My question is on the co-founder stuff. If you have been working on an idea alone for some time, is to buy into the idea, but they aren't seeing what you're seeing. But along the line, you're making sense. You're making progress. Like let's say a year after, you're now making sense. Now bringing the developer in, like now you're talking to them that okay, see this, we have this on kind already. So does that when person comes in a year after, that person become a co-founder or I don't know how
yes. So what they said is that the work in a company is not the work you've done. Just think about Paystack and Ezra and I. I'd worked on Paystack at least 1 year before Ezra joined. But all the work I did there, as far as I'm concerned, is rubbish. Because the real work, we haven't even started. The real work is ahead. So I think someone can join you at any point. Like, it's not about the work you've done. It's about the work you have to do together in future. You know, so, and it's a lot of work. And that's why we're talking about mutual respect and all that. Your co-founder is someone that together you can go further, so you can go very far. So just think about if this person can take me to the next level, then it deserves to be your co-founder. Yeah, that's how I would think about it.
Sorry, let me chip into that.
Okay.
So in a situation whereby you're about to incorporate a company,
yes,
and perhaps you've done a lot of work before the co-founder comes in.
Yes.
So when it comes to equity splits,
yes.
So what do you expect to give that co-founder in question?
Okay, so equity. Okay, were you about to say something?
Yeah, this was a recurrent source of confusion, friction, unhappiness. So a lot had missed as well. And my opinion has very much hardened. I believe very strongly that if you are a co-founding relationship is like a marriage. If you are going to, because startups are hard and difficult and borderline will destroy your life. If someone is willing to go on that journey with you, as close as if it's 2 people, half, if it's 3 people, third, as close as that sort of split as possible. That's my recommendation. Of course, every situation is very different, but it's worth asking because it will come up again. No matter how much the person says, I agree. Come a year, come 2 years, because I think it doesn't get easier. Startups only get exponentially harder. You don't want a situation where someone who is critical to making this thing a success has a deep-seated resentment that's ferment over time. I strongly recommend that it's as fair, as split as possible. Because also, if you believe that you deserve 80% and the person deserves 20%, right? I feel like there's a fundamental problem that's no amount of YC will solve. So I so often you hear a lot of angst around what should the split be. I've worked on this thing for a year, this person is just coming now, I have suffered. And now that this thing is now obvious, this person just coming and taking half of my business, I beg you. It's 80% of nothing is nothing. This person is going to come to help make this thing anything at all. My strong recommendation, again, take it a pinch of salt, is as fair as possible so that you prevent the borderline company destroying arguments that will happen a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line.
So I agree with Manuel, as close together as possible. The YC, in terms of YC, a co-founder is someone that has more than 10%. So one of the top 3 reasons why companies die, so when he was asking me about how if we didn't get into YC, would we have continued, is co-founder splits. You just fight. Somebody just goes in his own direction, you go in your direction, and the company just standards. So yeah, so I think that's avoidable.
Because our question is situated by.
Sorry, there's just so many hands. Also, can we have a woman just?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ruth. My startup is Bitmama. We broker trades between buyers and sellers that sell cryptocurrency. So what I wanted to ask is, in the starting stages, okay, we're also in startup school. Let me mention that. Okay, so how did you measure growth at the beginning? Because when you have one customer, it's 100%. When you have two, it's not 50. So how did you measure that?
Okay, thanks for saying that. I actually wanted to talk about that. So in the early stages, the most important thing is progress. So I think I asked Michael, CEO of YC, a few years or a few months after we got in, like, why did Paystack get in? And it was like, it looked like we were making progress, So I told you, like, first time we reached out, we were so far. Next time you reached out, we had made progress. Next time again, we had made progress. So of course, by the time we came for the interview, we had made made progress. So of course, this company is going to continue to grow. I think early days, and that's what I tell founders actually that talk to me personally, is you have to figure out what your key metric is. I did it in no vanity metrics. I did maybe revenue or something. And track it weekly. We were tracking ours weekly. So we said, and we did, like, when we wanted to get into YC, people were putting a lot of pressure on me that just go and look for big businesses, go and do this, go and sell to governments, go and do this so you can make money. I'm like, no, like, these things don't matter. Can I have 10 customers today? Can I have 20 next week? Can I have 30 the other week? Can I have 60 the other week? And as long as we do that, then we're in good business. But if I wait 5 weeks to get one big customer, and then I wait 10 weeks or 20 weeks to get a small customer, like, that's not good enough. So I would say founders should, like, no matter what you're doing, I think you should keep a spreadsheet, a weekly, depending on how deep your business is, but a weekly spreadsheet saying that if I'm a cryptocurrency exchange, you can figure out what you want to do, but maybe how much are we transacting every week? And your day-to-day strategy is, when people ask me, okay, what's your 5-year plan? Like, I don't have a 5-year plan, I have a 1-week plan. Your day-to-day is, how do I move from 20 people transacting to 30 people, or how do I move from transacting 20K to 50K next week, and then from 50K next week to 70K, If your business is more complicated, maybe make it monthly, but absolutely between weekly and monthly, you should be able to track progress. Yes. I don't know if that answers the question. Does anyone have any answer there? Okay.
I think, so relating to people who have applied to YC before but didn't get in, when we had the YC Lagos Meetup last year, I think Kangbe applied multiple times, and so he also asked, why did I apply? Why did I make it later and not before? OMG in Ghana applied 4 times before they got in, and the difference between the 4th time and the first time YC told them was that there was progress, like they put in the work and there was progress, and that matters above everything else.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, just one second. Oh, here. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, my name is Oliver. Work on Marketer. We are trying to build a uniform platform for merchants to view their reporting, reconciliation, settlement, and everything using the SaaS model. My question or challenge basically is valuation. You're talking to investors. YC probably has 7%, $120,000. So
yes.
You already know either you accept or you don't accept. Other investors will say, okay, I want to give you maybe $10K for 20%. Should you accept? What are the models you should use to say, okay, no, I'm not accepting, I'm accepting, it's a small kind of.
Okay, that's a very simple question, good question. So I think the model to think about it is, number one, no complex deals. Never. If somebody is trying to complicate your company, just go. Try to think about the first, and I'm assuming this is an early stage company. The first money in ideally should ideally not be more than 10%. And you should think about what the next level for the company looks like. So each company needs to decide what their next level looks like. And what does it take for me to get to the next level for my company? You know, next level might be, I have an idea, I want to convert it to a product with 100 customers. And so your next level has to be realistic, otherwise you've just wasted your equity. And then, what does this cost me? You know, and then, ideally, find someone that can give you enough money to do that for as little equity as possible. So, but I think something below 10% is very, very practical. So depending on how big you are, but try to optimize for below 20% and as much money that can take you to the next level. So that's how I would think about it. Yeah. Did you want to respond to that? Okay, I'll give you this. I don't know if you can. Another one is mine.
Okay, my name is Olatunde Ward, and I have a startup, Eben. We connect African businesses and exporters to the global markets. Basically, if you think of Alibaba, that's what we do. And so my question is, I like to, the way I do my business, especially if I am entering a new market, I try to like copy a model after a successful company. So some of the questions would be directed like at Paystack, and I have a couple of them here. So first of all, I read somewhere that you have about 25 staff. So 26. So 30. I know, like your company is 100% a technology company, but some of us here, we use technology to support our product. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes I wonder, like, you have the platform. You are not like a blogger that you need to keep updating posts every day to stay afresh. So what are the 25 staff doing when the website?
All of them are here. He wants to go in trouble. I know.
So the reason why I ask this question is, sometimes I ask myself that, okay, if is a tech-enabled a tech company, I have 25 staff, I'm the brain person, I have a technical co-founder. Does it mean that something might be missing, like we need to figure it out? I don't know if
okay, I can answer your question. Let me answer that. I think you have to act we started with one person. We moved to 2 people. At YC we were 3 people. By June we were 5 people. By the end of the year we were 9 people. By mid last year we were 15 people. By the end of last year we were 25 people. Now we're 35 people. So we didn't start with 35 people. That's the first part. So you will have to, as you get into the problems, as you find things that you need people to help you figure out, then you scale with that. So I think that's the first one. So you don't compare. I can't compare myself now with Facebook that has 5,000 engineers or own level. So that's the first answer to that. As to what the 36 people are doing,
that's a very interesting question. So it actually speaks to what I believe is a very important thing that most companies overlook, which is the importance of talking to customers and actually solving their problems. So I lead the growth team. The majority of the growth team is currently focused on customer success, right? So that is multiple members of the team whose entire job it is to understand the problems people are trying to solve in their business and leverage the Paystack product into solving that. Shola was the first customer success expert, in addition to being the CEO and everything. So what are many of the people doing? Many of the people are quite literally, their entire focus is, I keep saying understanding the problem, because as very smart people, it's very easy to, and everyone speaks the same language, you assume that being smart and understanding what the person is saying, then you understand the problem. You don't, right? That is actual real work that someone needs to care deeply about. and then translating that to the rest of the company. So that is hard work, and I see that's something that people overlook a lot.
The third person to basically just undo front end and then we did all of that through YC, through the fundraising period, I think up to like June. Then we had a second backend engineer to join me, and then basically that was Shala. We were able to like push Shala out of active development and just focus on the other partnerships and all of that, right? And then there was someone that was a part of the team as well who had like helped Shola do a couple of like plugins or something earlier in the back before we like launched and all. So he joined as a full member of the team, but he was actively doing support for customers, so integration support and all. Towards the end of the year, we absorbed him into the engineering team because we started like having like multiple branches of like work that needed to be done, and the second engineer that we hired wasn't exactly enough. So we brought him into the engineering team, and then over the next couple of months, figured out how to like stock the customer support team with actual engineers that can, because sorry. All right, found a way to like add more engineers to the customer support team, because like you said, like you need people who can actually understand the problems of the customers. Like it's one thing to like sit down in the engineering room and just be coding and everything. It's another thing to actually be interacting with like customers on a daily basis, and then they are telling you, oh, I'm trying to do this integration, this, but this is not working and all of that. How do you like actually communicate this solution to them, or how do you take over the work from them and actually like get it done yourself? One of our current, we call them product specialists. One of them is right there handling exactly, yeah, like yeah. So he's an engineer, but he focused on customers directly and all. Yeah. So towards the end of the year, last year actually, then we started adding a few more engineers, added a few more product designers as well, which the other one is like right there beside you. So he joined. So he joined Okwe on the product design team, because there's like a lot of work to be done. We're also like building, like Shola said, like it's not just about like, oh, okay, now we have a payment gateway, now you can accept payments, and then oh, bye bye and everything. There are like multiple products that we are like trying to like layer on top of that. On top of the core concept of like just accepting payments. So like, how do you 30 minutes into like registering or something, you can begin to like accept payments? So, oh wait, we need to have something like payment pages, which we like built back in the day. But that's like something that has evolved so much between when we built it back in 2016 and what it is today. And that's because we've been able to like have focus of some sort on that product in particular. How do we grow it? How are we listening to customers? When customers say, oh, they want this particular, or they wish they had this feature on this product or something, then you add to it and all of that. And then the whole concept of like being able to like maintain that also now like creeps in. We have subscriptions. Someone needs to like be able to like maintain the subscriptions product. And then even besides the out-facing products, we also like have internal tools that enable members of the team to be successful at what they're doing. We have the product operations team, whose work is to like ensure that we literally have no problems with our payments. So when payments happen and the customer complains and says, goes to their bank, reports a chargeback and says, oh, I don't know when this payment happened or something, right? That needs to be resolved somehow in such a way that neither Paystack nor the merchant loses money, at least best case scenario. And all of that, meaning we need to find a way to like explain all of these things. We receive a ton of emails on a daily basis from banks because of the scale at which we are operating right now. People filing chargebacks, people filing these disputes and all of that. Like so many, these people need to get their work done. Rather than having this person perusing Excel sheets and all of that and trying to figure out every day, you need to have a product in-house that these people can use to like help make their work easier, meaning more engineering and to focus on that, because if you don't have focus on that, then you can't like, yeah, exactly. Like so, what? Yeah. But as we've grown, processing hundreds of thousands of transactions in a month.
1.8 million.
Exactly.
Successful.
Right? Yeah, successful. Right? Like, yeah, I'm even like coming up with an old number. You have a table that, I mean, you're making some random decisions on the table in the past.
That's
like
it just 6 people. Don't worry.
it just sounds okay. Yeah, like this works anyway. But today the table has like 50 million records and all, and it's so heavy. And queries, reporting queries, analytical queries that you were running before no longer work anymore. But then you can like pause the company to like, okay, now we want to focus on this instead. Work needs to continue on one hand, and then you need to like get experience, people who have actual experience in like solving these problems and all of that's like coming. And yeah, like it's a continuous process, and as the business grows, you are definitely going to find new reasons to like bring new people on the team. Because I actually heard someone like chuckle and say, oh, most of our staff will be marketing or something. Yeah, that's actually like the very funny thing. That's something we've not, our growth has been highly organic and all so far. It's basically been about putting our head down, doing the work, and letting the work speak for itself. It's like, yeah, and telling our stories and letting the work speak for itself. It's been nothing like, we don't have like a horde of people out there knocking on doors and like just selling Paystack or giving out handouts. No, we don't have. Everybody's like in here trying to make the product better and trying to improve the relationship we have with our customers.
Yeah. This is Khadija. Khadija Abu, heads partnerships at Paystack. So she has come and defend our own people too. Yes.
I'm not defending anything. I wanted to say something. I was tied to the last thing Ezra said. So half the time, we tend to think that technology will sell itself. You feel like if you have this amazing idea, everybody will come to you for it somehow. They'll just know that you magically have this thing and they'll come for it. And yes, in the early days, if what you have is really, really super amazing, people will beat down your door looking for it. But at some point, you need to push rather than just wait for it to come. There's complex sales. There are people that need you to come to them. Like, just look at this, for example. We don't have to do this. What does this session have to do with payments? You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a lot that happens beyond the engineering, and I find that a lot of engineering founders just like feel like, oh, if I have this amazing product, you know, it will just blow and all of us will hammer, but it doesn't really work that way.
Okay, so second question. Before Paystack, I use Paystack now. Before Paystack, I was using VookPay, and before VookPay, I was using Cashem. Sorry, I'm mentioning those names. And before then, I was using AOO. And so I've been. Okay, yeah, I think I remember seeing you at Susio back then, but I don't. So, but my question is, how did you get to? Because I know that you get the largest market share. I don't have any statistics to prove, but I'm sure you have the largest market share among all these things that I've mentioned. So how did you get to within 2 years to grow organically? Because I have a lot of internet marketers that are using VookPay and they switched to Paystack. I switched to Paystack because they were switching to Paystack. Not like I had anything. I didn't have any. So I just wanted to know, like, what did you guys do? Like for Uber, for instance, I know when Uber came to launch, and I was talking with the guy that came to launch in Nigeria. Within 2 months, Uber was already on the lips of everybody. So, but I didn't get to know like what they actually did.
Yeah. So so just a little bit of context, talking about what are all these people doing. We are growing at ridiculous rates, and unfortunately we find ourselves in a situation where we are lagging behind the volumes we are seeing. We are solving that in 2 important ways. Improving our internal tooling, to be able so that every single person can solve more problems quickly, and also recruiting. So we have 4 additional customer success people starting this week. We are recruiting, I'm saying recurrently, but that doesn't solve your problem immediately. So I know you have to run out, but there are members of the team around, so if you can please see anyone with a Paystack share, they can respond as quickly as possible. And then the second thing concerning, that's a core of the question that I feel everyone here is asking themselves in one way or the other. We are trying to run internet businesses. How do we do that in a part of the world where some people might be afraid to pay online, where some people might have not paid online before? We see that a lot. A number of very quick things that we have seen work for people. So we've seen people solve it on both a product angle and then on a service level. On the service level, not assuming expertise with online payments. There's so many things that you and I take for granted, but when we talk to the end customer, we are blown away. So telling someone, enter your CVV into this place, that makes sense to you and I, but we've discovered, because so many people make their first payment with Paystack, even that needs explanation. So to what, I don't know the site, but to whatever extent that you can handhold people as much as possible, please do so. Spare no expense, make no assumptions about how knowledgeable people are. Like on a product level, we recently completely overhauled our checkout form, frankly, to help speak exactly to this. You've put in a ton of effort to get someone to that checkout moment. We need to do everything we can to ensure that that transaction is successful. Multiple things we are doing, up to and including multiple payment channels. So maybe the person feels queasy about card payments, right? But they've used 737 before and it worked. So we will do the hard work of integrating 737 such that they have that option there. So we spend a lot of time and effort asking ourselves, when the customer gets to that final stage, what can we do to ensure success? But for our other online or e-commerce merchants, we see that they succeed when they over-invest in customer education. It's not sexy. It's not what you want to be spending your time on. But we are definitely we are innovators. We are pioneers. And until that happy future where everyone is familiar with all of this, I appeal to everyone to please don't get frustrated. Just educate. It's important.
If we may ask a question, do you guys kind of advertise yourself so that people know how secure that is?
Exactly.
Security is one big problem I think most people have. I try to kind of interview people and get a feedback, and I found out that a lot of them are scared. What I was told is that they do purchase online and they don't see the product and they don't get their money back. So do you advertise? Because I believe Paystack is like being PayPal. Do you advertise to tell the public how secure their debit card is to the system? So
Yeah.
people don't get.
Yeah, that's also a very, very good question. So we currently don't do any paid acquisition at all. But something that we've been surprised to hear recently from merchants, and I mentioned this just because it's an interesting insight. As you, as a business selling online, you'll be surprised at the extent to which your success or failure is not so much about products, but about trust. Literally just trust. And so this is feedback we've been getting from a fair amount of merchants. We see a positive version of this, right? Very often, a large merchant will come to us because their customers used Paystack somewhere else and had an amazing experience. And then 1, 2, 10, 100 people goes to that big business and says, if you don't use Paystack, we won't give you our money because we don't trust anyone else. So that works for us, of course. But like something that has been surprising, but that we've learned is that it matters when the end customer sees the brand repeatedly. So definitely our thinking around advertising, all of that is evolving a fair bit. It's a very fair point noted. Our growth will not necessarily be driven by advertising, but the core idea is how do we signal trust. And there are multiple things we are doing around that. I can't speak to them right now, but it's definitely top of mind for us. Sorry. So yeah, next question. I'm sorry. And so your question was, how did we grow? Essentially, we get this question a lot. People wish the answer were magic. Exactly. People wish I could tell you that there is this specific set of things we did. But genuinely, thank you. Genuinely, the honest but unsatisfying answer is that we solved a problem for one person. We solved a problem for 10 people. We solved a problem for 100 people. Of course, that's oversimplifying it a little bit, right? Like when we say solve the problem, over-investing in the technology, over-investing in user experience, over-investing in customer support, right? But it really is as simultaneously straightforward and impossible as deeply understanding the problem and solving it for 1, 2, 10, 100 people. That has been the story of our growth. There was no magic bullets. There was no complicated algorithm. It was really smart people ensuring that when people actually used the product, it worked. Frankly, like if there's one magic thing we did, it was making a promise we could keep. The promise was that if you try to pay online, it would work. Unfortunately, we're in a part of the world where you can't take that for granted when you use tools online. So to the best of your ability, if you make a promise to a customer, be able to keep it. So I know that you were hoping that there would be something a lot more esoteric, but it really was as straightforward as make sure the product actually works and make sure you've actually solved the problem before trying to scale. So many people want to scale very quickly when they've not actually solved the problem for even 10 people.
Okay, yeah. So
sorry, just no. We'll be here. We are here for you all day. No, just in the interest of fairness. In the interest of fairness, no. Someone like
very important.
I promise.
That's my main question.
No, I promise
Please. Should I name?
Okay. The person says we should let you.
Okay. So I get this a lot. As an entrepreneur, you get a lot of ideas flying through your head. But when you're solving a problem, you find that out of that solution to that problem, there are other small challenges, and you want to solve them. So when you get invested in your company, and you find that let's say Paystack now has another problem they want to solve, and Shola decided to let me create another company that handles it. Do you register that company under the investment? I don't know how to put it. Do you put it under Y Combinator investor, or you just register as your own business? So you know that you have 100% share over that business, even though somehow it also work hand in hand with the main startup that you're funded.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. I think that's the question.
Okay, let me answer. That's a very interesting question. So two things. Number one is that if your company is an entity, and you own part of that entity, and other people own part of that entity, and all the IP, all the intellectual property, or everything that is created belongs to that company. There's that. If something happens to me and maybe I grow mad and I want to open a new company because I'm tired of this first company, there's governance involved. So, and if the board or if the governance structure of the current company allows me to do that, then I can do that. So that's the official answer. The real answer is that it's hard enough to do one thing. In fact, that one is tired already. So why will I want to do another thing? My model for thinking about it is when you have customers and you have products. So ideally, creating a new product for your existing customers is fair, or finding other customers for your existing product is fair. But finding a new product for a new set of customers is semi-madness. So that's how I will answer that question. Yeah. I don't know if anyone.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Davis. I run Enterprise Hill. We do accounting, taxes, and data-driven strategies for entrepreneurs like you. So please feel free if you have accounting questions. So my question is, generally speaking, I believe more in focusing your attention on driving customers, and then investors will find you. So my question is, why Combinator aside, from startup till now, what has been your philosophy with regards to how you drive customer growth? Because one of the things you said is first year there was progress, second year there was progress, even though YC wasn't in the picture in terms of investment. So what are the things that you do like on a day-to-day basis that keeps your focus to such an extent that you're consistently growing customer base? And second question I want to ask you specifically, Shola, is between when you started and now, how has your role evolved? Because there's been a lot of growth. When we start, you're wearing all the hats, but how has it evolved? And as of today, what would you say is your primary concern as the key driver of the Paystack vision?
Okay, thanks for that. So the first question is, how have we maintained customer growth? And I think it's like Emmanuel said, like we've all said, I think is just being focused on our current customers. I had that philosophy from the beginning, where people will be telling me, go and tell this company to use Paystack, this company should go and use Paystack. But I'm like, I have other people that are coming to me, telling me they want to use Paystack. Like, why would I ignore those guys and focus on another company? And so very early days of Paystack, the focus was, if someone has a payments problem, if they've reached out to us, can we just work with them? Can we solve their problem? Can we solve the problems of our current customers? And then the thankful thing is that because payments is very interesting, we tell ourselves, if we keep our current customers now, if we don't add new customers, our business will continue to grow as long as those customers grow their businesses. So just knowing that makes us slightly more confident to say we can take our time to meet the needs of our customers. Now, but in doing that, I think we've also been lucky because our customers now recognize that, the market recognizes it, the ecosystem recognizes it, and is now helping us grow. So my answer is just start focus on the product and the customers has been very helpful. As to my role and how it has evolved, it has really evolved. I had something saying like the role of a CEO, it changes every 6 months. You start from playing tennis to the next week you have to play football. Next week you have to play basketball. So it's new things that you've never done before. So in the beginning, like Manuel said, I was doing everything. So I was talking to customers, I was helping people on, but I was responding to emails, I was doing all that. And it evolved. I was writing the code, I was doing everything. I was doing sales, but very quickly, thankfully, the technology part is just started handling that. And so I started doing more of the customer success and sales part, and talking to investors and all that. Then again, added more people. Last year I added Emmanuel, so Emmanuel started owning the acquisition part. Added someone for sales, Fisayo, started going for meetings. So now last time I wore a suit was probably 2016, because before I had to do that, but now it doesn't matter again. But I still do sales though. Then partnerships, so we're talking to banks, we're doing all that thing. We've got Katija, she has been in the industry for 10 years, so she can even do it better than me. So I think as a founder, as your company grows, the most important thing to figure out is, can you find people that can write software better than me? Can you find people that can do acquisition better than me? Can I find people that can sell better than me? And can I help them just work together? Can I help them do their work? Can I give them the right context? Can I do that? And can I continue to find people? So I'm always talking to new people, I'm looking for, if there's anybody here that is bad, I'm going to catch you. So I'm always I have a radar for, if there's an impressive person, I'm talking to them, I'm trying to get them to see how they can help us, So I think my role now has changed, and I'm also trying to get a pulse of the business, and I think I understand that the worst thing a business needs is a disconnected CEO. So I'm extremely connected, I'm listening for signals, I'm checking if you mention Paystack anywhere, I will know. If I'm checking what's happening, I'm talking to customers, I'm just getting everything and I'm just helping everybody figure out their work. So, and that's still going to even change, So, but I recognize that as long as the business grows, I will continue to grow. One book I read recently is High Growth Handbook, which has been very helpful to see how things like that work.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mimi. I'm the founder of Cuddle Circle. Cuddle Circle, we help parents make and save money by selling pre-owned baby products. So I want to piggyback off his point of before Y Combinator. So before you got investment and you weren't working anymore, how did you bootstrap the company? How did you make sure the company was progressing?
I was telling people the story on Monday. I wanted to launch the product, or I knew what I wanted to do. I built it. I wanted customers. I spoke to about 5 people at the same time. Some of them were just dragging their feet. Gingerbox Conley, for example, I reached out to him, I'm like, can I use Paystack? Like, I want to use it, but I don't have a developer to help me build my e-commerce site. I built his e-commerce site, and I plugged Paystack into it, and I gave it to him. He started using Paystack. I spoke to my lawyers, DIY Law. I was like, okay, I needed a lawyer. They're like, oh, they told me the idea. They like begged them. They used it. So just walking through my network and like whatever context there was, just figuring out how to get those people to do it was helpful in the early days. And we kept doing that. So kept calling people up, asking people for intros to a few people that I thought were going to use it. Some of them were not ready, so moving quickly to the next person. So just also you knowing that, so I think a mindset of progress is also useful. Like if I'm talking to you and I know that you're not serious, just being able to recognize quickly that, I'll come back to you, don't worry. and quickly move to the next person and just trying to know what the obstacles are. And if I see that it's something I can surmount, I fix it and I go. If I'm not sure, I move to the next person. Yeah.
Thank you, helpful. Then the last thing, I know we've talked a lot about tech co-founders, and I really like what you said about relationship building, because my business is built on relationship and trust. But I feel like, and I don't know if this is going to sound transactional, but I kind of feel like Nigerian developers think certain industries are sexier than the others. So they think, oh, if it's not fintech, if it's not cryptocurrency, if it's not, health tech or any, they don't want to work with baby stuff. So I think this kind of community is good, but how can we do, I put it on my Instagram actually, how can we do almost like a speed dating for Nigerian merchants, business owners, and people in the development or tech industry in Nigeria, where you can kind of sense the people that are serious and actually want to grow a business and the people that just want to be freelancers. Thank you.
Yeah. So, my name is Ruth again. So, when I started, I had the dream, I had the vision. Then there was a developer, and I told him, look, you don't say, oh, come and build this thing for me, I need money, I'll give you money, I'll pay you this. So I told him, look, I have this dream, I have this vision, I want to change this. Are you willing to go with me? So after some time, he came back and all that. It didn't go well with that person because he was like, oh, I should give him equity, I should give him all his equity. I said, no, we have to vest. So, but after some time, that was when I met my second developer, which is Lemuel. If you notice, I always go everywhere with him. It's like we are dating, but we are not. Do you understand? I go and ask him, even when he's sleeping at 12 o'clock, I'm calling him, Lemuel, have you done that API? Have you done this? Have you done that? He'll be like, my brothers, they're saying, are you my girlfriend? I don't know if you get my point. So maybe you should look for someone that will share the vision with you, even though they don't get it at first. Keep beating it that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. Then you go on from there.
So a number of things immediately. developers are also full people. Coding is one thing they do, but they have vastly different interests. Admittedly, like fintech is really hot right now, right? Like I feel like a few years ago it was e-commerce, where everyone wanted to do e-commerce. Like machine learning is also hot among some quarters. I get it, and frankly, I feel like that's beyond developers. Like every marketing person, right? Every marketing person wants to be working in the fintech. All finance people want to, right? So that's not just developers. It's just the zeitgeist, like the mood that we are in right now. But that said, though, always just remembering that developers, like every other human being, have vastly different interests. We have lots of developers. Some of the developers are really into music. Some of the developers are really into cars. Some of the developers are really into design. It would be hard to find the person, right? But I strongly believe that there are people for whom this space, there's something about it that's fascinating to them. Okay, I see you. I do hear you concerning, and it's actually been an education for me. Clearly, this is a pain point. As Paystack, our job is to solve businesses' problems with technology. So this is definitely a point of feedback that will take away. When someone signs up for Paystack today, we send a series of onboarding emails. One of them is an email specifically with a list of developer communities that non-technical business owners can join, and those are places where you can find developers with whom to build a relationship. In the follow-up email, we'll be sure to list all of those as well. But like at the core, don't give up. Like not every single developer wants to be working at a fintech. They are full human beings. They have the exact problem that you have, and frankly, you might find your developer in a customer, right? I don't know the extent to which you are sharing your needs as a business with your customers. You'll be surprised. If not the person using your products, they might know someone exactly. So that'd be my recommendation there.
Also, she made, I think that was good. She made a very silent point around vesting that I just wanted to address. So we're talking about equity, co-founder, and all that. I think vesting is a very important concept, which means when you give a founder or co-founder equity, it has to be vested. Ideally, the right structure is, I think, 4 years with a 1-year cliff. So that means the first 1 year. So if you give someone 50% of your company, the first 1 year, they don't even get anything. If they leave within 1 year, they don't get anything. And then, if after 1 year, they now get 25%, because it's 4 years, you get 25% of the 50%, which is 12.5. Did I get it? Yeah. So they get 12.5%, and then going forward, every month they stay, it continues to vest. So I think if you give equity without vesting, then you're in trouble. Yeah.
How are we doing with the?
Yeah. Okay, there's Stephanie there. Okay, yeah. I see. Also, both of them, and then we can throw back again. Yeah.
Stephanie.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine.
Okay, hi.
Oh yeah. Hi.
My name is Lutana Izogo, and my startup is Skills Drive, where I teach introverts to network. So I love what you said about introverts.
She teaches introverts to network.
Thank you. So, I love what you said about like not necessarily having a 5-year plan, saying how can I grow this week, how can I grow next week. And I focused on that a lot when I was starting out, right? And I realized that because of that, I was having a lot of like my superpower is I can talk to people like one-to-one is my thing. If I talk to 10 people, I can get 5 people to sign up for like a one-to-one consultation, right? But I found that in like 2 years, I've had 200 one-to-one consultations, like those two. And I've gotten to a point where I literally cannot, I can't do it anymore. Like I'm fully booked for the entire year. I don't have space. And I've gotten to a point where I need to scale, right? And I'm focusing on online courses to scale. But in doing that, I realized that I need a lot of help. So it's not just me like this solitary pushing my business, but I need to build on people. So my first question is, when it comes to hiring people, do I focus on bringing on interns and like teach train them, like finding, teaching them to grow, or do I focus on hiring the best? Because the thing with hiring the best is those guys want to work for Google, they want to work for Microsoft, so it's difficult. And like, how long? That's time. It's taking time to keep telling them like, guys, this is why you should join my company. That's time, and I'm losing time, right? In that time, I could probably train somebody to be doing something in the meantime, right? So that's my question. Like, do I focus on interns? That's my first question. Do I focus on interns, or do I keep trying to get the best to join my company? My second question is, so I have different products. So when I started out, I found that the most important thing, or the most difficult problem people had was starting conversations. Like, as simple as it sounds, and it's something I struggle with personally. People tell you, like, I don't even know how to start a conversation, I don't know how to hold a conversation. So I created a product. My first product was around starting conversations. And people grew, like my customers grew, their problems grew. So when somebody says, I don't know how to start a conversation, and you learn how to start a conversation and hold one, the next problem is, I don't know how to follow up. The next question is, okay, now I know all these people, how do I maximize my network, right? So I have all these different products, and I'm now torn between, do I focus on pushing one product and getting known for that product, right? And then upselling my other products to people who are now my customers? Or do I keep on pushing all my products at the same time, because different people are at different points in their networking journey? Like, some people are at the point where they're like, oh, my problem is not starting conversations, my problem is I don't know how to follow up with people, right? So my two questions basically is the hiring, do I focus on hiring interns, or do I keep on trying to get the best? And my second question is, do I push one product, get known for one product, or do I keep pushing all my products at the same time, because different people are at different points?
All right, thanks. So I'll answer and then I'll pass it around to whatever wants to answer. So the first one I think is very easy. It might be very difficult when you hire an intern. Then you don't have to realize, am I building my, like, your focus? Will you actually be able to train that person, or like won't you be distracted and all that? So my model for that is, ideally I would say hire someone better than you first, and then maybe stack an intern under that person, so that that person can help you train somebody else, so that when they eventually go to Microsoft, then they've at least trained that person. So, and you say that you can't attract them. To be honest, best is relative. Like, you don't need to. The best person for you might not be the best person for me. So act your age, act your stage, find the best person for your age and stage, and get the person in. My mental model for talent is, are you better than me? Can you do this thing better than me? If you can't do it better than me, then why am I, So look for people that can do these things better than you, get them to, and it might not be easy, it might be, you might even have to pay them, but get them in very quickly and get them to skill that skill for you. So I get them to train you, get them to train others, and hopefully they're excited enough to continue to work with you. But if not, at least they built something around that. So that's my answer to the first one. Second question around, do you sell to just one product or multiple products? I think they've asked around a lot, like, how did Paystack scale? I think Paystack, and I remember when Mark Zuckerberg came to Lagos and people were asking him, how did Facebook grow so hard? And it was like, the reason was because it was easy for people to tell other people about Facebook. Same thing with Paystack. Because of what we're doing, it's extremely easy for other people to tell, oh, if you need problems, if you have a problem accepting payments, then you can tell somebody else, and it's straightforward, because your business scales. You can't be the one to scale your business. Your business will scale when people can help you scale it. So I think until you get to that inflection point where you know that things are moving very fast and you've made it in life, it's best to keep it simple, and have a simple story that can be transmitted when you're not there. Like, that we've been here now can say, okay, there's someone that helps people that are shy to, like, I can't remember, but something like that. Exactly. But once it's now in 3 places, then I can't easily tell that story for you again, and yeah, so I would say keep it simple, and people can know, like at Paystack, we do disbursements, a lot of disbursements, but we don't even talk about it yet, because
if the thing we really want to push, the thing we want people to know us for right now is collections. Like, let's help you collect payments. So you can still do those things, but keep your story simple. Drive that first part of the business that you really want to drive, and then once you get to that inflection point, the other stories can start. That's how I'll answer that.
So talking about hiring and scaling, firstly, we recommend taking a moment and ensuring that you've pushed as far as you can. Let me just get up so you can see me. You've pushed as far as you can when it comes to automation, right? There are all sorts of tools like Zapier that can connect to each other, where if someone like registers for a one-on-one with you, you pre-qualify them in some capacity based on the options they choose. It triggers something. Like, I don't know the extent to which we are pushing that right now. Assuming that you've done that to the extent that you are able, and now it's time to bring someone on board. The first 50 to 100 people in your company are critical. Like, they say companies take on the DNA of their founders. Like, Paystack is very much a baby of, shall I measure? But beyond just both of them, like, we are just about 30 people. Like, every single person who has joined this company leaves an indelible mark on this thing. And so think about it that way. Like, imagine you were literally creating life with someone. Would you just take someone and hope for the best? No, you wouldn't, right? You'd be obsessive. And that, frankly, that's like, forgive me, it's going to sound really arrogant, but like, I believe very strongly that any one person at Paystack could run multiple other companies, because we've been obsessive about hiring. I can't emphasize this enough. We are obsessive about hiring. Like, there's just so much to do. We can't afford to have someone who is just going to take us back, right? It's painful. Like, we are so behind on our mailbox. It makes us sad, right? But we find that it's so worth it to find the right person, than in the interest of scaling, you just bring anyone in who just comes, frankly, just destroys your business. Now you have no business and there's no scaling either. So hiring is hard. We are recruiting segmentally. If you're an engineer, you're looking for a job, please let us know. So we are going through it right now, right? It's painful, it's hard, but it's so necessary to get it right. But like Shola mentioned, like honestly, it's worth asking, like, is the right partner for you, the right complementary partner for you, someone whose other option is Google, right? Like, if I were working on something, I would assume that, right? But you build up to things. But the beauty is talent attracts other talent. It compounds. So what's important right now is you find someone who buys into the vision, find someone you can afford, you grow very quickly. It then becomes a little easier to find someone who, maybe you are not still at the Google level, but you can find someone who is ex-Jumia, right? And then you build up to someone who is ex-Google. But it's definitely a process. But I strongly recommend that be obsessive. Don't compromise. Don't compromise when it comes to bringing someone. And then this fine gentleman has been doing his hand for a while.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Shola, for saving me. I've been waiting on my hand since. Anyway, my name is Stephanie, and I have a couple of questions. The first one is, I have been bootstrapping for a long time. My brain is wired to bootstrap. If I want to do something, I find the customers who will pay for it before I do it. Now, everybody's telling me, Stephanie, you have to scale up, you have to grow fast. And in my mind, I'm still thinking that to scale up and to grow fast, we can find the money inside the business to scale up and grow fast. But everybody's telling me, no, you have to go and get funding. Why do you want tech companies get funding? So I want to know if getting funding is the only way. Can't I bootstrap? And because I think that trying to get funding is a job on its own. You know, and I think it might distract me. So shouldn't I just be facing the work and building it? And the second thing is, because I'm still in the industry I play in edtech, education, it's not as sexy as fintech. I don't think its time has come yet. So we are still building. Shouldn't I just be building? I don't know, or am I being short-sighted? Should I just be hitting my head like that and don't be trying. I don't know.
Okay. That's a very good question. So I think it's going to be both. I think one of the things I heard when I went to YC was the work of a founder is to build their business, and the work of investors is to look for solid founders that are building their businesses and invest in them. So you will never be the one to go and look for funding in quotes, because you're doing it wrong. You're not building your business, you know. So I would say you bootstrap and build and make early progress. Build a story, but very quickly get good at telling your story. Get good at being resourceful enough to find opportunities that can help you grow. So, first step, start. Next step, grow. Next step, figure out what is impressive about you and your business, and then become resourceful, because both questions are tied together. You can wait for customers to pay you one after the other before you can hire someone like Emmanuel that can help you with market acquisition, or you can get the funding, hire Emmanuel and let him make his money back, you know. So so I would say you definitely have to. You can't start by fundraising, of course, that's wrong. Start bootstrapping, but get very good at telling your story. Get very good at being resourceful, finding the people that can help you grow, finding the opportunities for you. Because it might just be, you're doing edtech now, it might just be, Opera or somebody is interested in your business, and then you just eat it, you know. It doesn't have to be money. So fundraising or other people coming in is less than the money in the early days, and more than being resourceful and finding what you need to move to the next level. So as a founder, get good at figuring out what your next level means, and get good at getting to that next level as soon as you can. Yeah.
Honestly, if you can get to whatever your next level is based on your KPIs or whatever without funding, please do. That is amazing, and you should absolutely do that. So, don't feel pressured to take people's money. It's I used to be on the other end where we were investing, and I was like, it's confusing to me when we hear someone has fundraising. It's like, congratulations. I don't want to take $8 million of someone's money. I don't know how he's sleeping at night. That's not right. So it's like if you genuinely believe that whatever success is, you can find a way to do it from your own. There are successful technology startups that were mostly bootstrapped, like Mailchimp. Mailchimp is majority bootstrapped. Same with Basecamp. It's possible. It's harder, right? But the other thing about taking funding as well is sometimes it's not about the money. Our Series A was led by strategic investors like Visa and Stripe. Between the two of them, they know more about payments than many other human beings on the planet. The money is nice, but the knowledge and insight there. So that might be another reason why you end up taking money, right? And we hear that where a company will take the money and they will not even touch the money. They wanted access to the board, right? So those are the ways to think about it as well. Sorry, wait. So he's managing the mic, so he'll let us know. Oh, sorry. Can you contribute to just that?
Yes, I think that sometimes not every idea is scalable to the point where it will secure venture capital. So you also have to consider that, because when people want to give you money like that, they want to know what's the size of your industry and how much of that can you capture. So if you're looking for for businesses that can get up to $100 million and such. So you also have to consider if the idea is scalable enough to the point where it interests or excites investors like that.
So for time check, we have about 15 more minutes to talk, and then we'll.
But at the end, we'll still be here. We're not running away. So
exactly, because
when we end it formally, it's not like we're all disappearing.
Because at this point, the point beats me. So we're trying to just get everybody as much as we can. So please.
You'll be next.
I have the mic here already. Hello.
Yeah.
My question is simple anyway. It is about when you getting into the Y Combinator's stuff, and you've registered your company in Nigeria. How do you manage to convert it to US company?
Okay, well, Y Combinator can and will help you figure that out when that time comes. So, but you just pay lawyers and they'll do it for you. So I think it's a very simple question and the answer is simple. Yeah.
I have the mic already.
Yeah.
Finally. Political thing. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Paul. I co-founded a company called Give Easily. We automate the process of giving donations and making financial pledges. So if you have been pledging and failing before, there's no need for that again. With our solution, you are able to do that. We take care of that. But I wanted to share my experience without trying to take us back. I've been with Paystack since the early stage, and the stories they are telling you is true. Even though you don't know me, when we were 4, I've integrated Paystack to almost 20 websites. And I regard myself as the only or the first Paystack evangelist. Yes. Now, I wanted to share my experience how I got a technical co-founder. I'm also a tech person. I studied information technology, but I'm a front-end person. And I use a system that I created myself many years ago called magnetic leadership. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, how do I get? It's very simple. I got mine on Facebook. And we have been working together now for months, and it's very, very interesting because I was able to first sell myself and my idea to the person. And he saw himself inside the vision. And he said to himself, this is where I want to be. For you to know how interesting this idea was for him, he got a very good, juicy job, like the one you got with Nigerian Breweries. He turned it down just to get this done. So I think that, very importantly, we need to understand how to make friends. I think Madam, your solution will be very helpful in this case. We need to learn how to build relationship with people. Number 2, sorry if you take offense, but this is not to make anybody angry. Nigerians, business people, startup are very, very selfish. And I learned personally many years ago that it's better for you to own 5% of a billion-dollar company than to own 95% of a company that is not going anywhere. So, the first thing that interests people, whether they are coders or whatever we call ourselves, they are human beings. And they want to know what is in it for me. So, when I met this guy and told the guy, you can own the company, just give me a small percentage. And he said, really? I said, yes. Because I know that the company is going to go big. And today, we are almost equal. And another interesting thing that helped is that, which I got from you, I have been learning a lot from you guys for a long time. I don't know, you didn't mention it, but these guys are master of transparency. So what I did was to be transparent. I have another business, so that's how I bootstrapped my own business, so I have other skills. So I brought him in. Anything I'm doing, I get him to suggest. In fact, you see that our color is not pink anymore, purple anymore. We're adopting something like a Paystack kind of thing. But a different shade of blue, actually. But for color, as simple as color, this guy will take you on almost anything. And it's interesting, it's engaging, and he's able to make input. So it's very simple. Please, if you're looking for a technical co-founder, please see this lady if you don't know how to do it. Thank you.
I'm Richard. I run an IoT business at CityWatch Network.
where we focus on security solutions, vehicle tracking, CCTV, and the likes of others. I actually, my first question, I have two questions, very important to me because I traveled 300 kilometers to be here. So, first one goes to, I need to know, at what stage did you approach YC? Was Paystack a project existing on just your hard disk on the laptop? Or you already launched you had a minimum viable product? Or you were fortunate to you've been able to, you had paying customers before you approached them? That's the first one. Then the second one, please, still goes down to equity that works, equity split that works. I am on a project different from what I do presently. I could, but I have gotten to a stage where I need other people on board. But then I need to set up people. Aside from because I've been in this IT business for a good number of years. Actually, I initially started in 2007 as real estate, the first real estate portal we had. Then I couldn't code. I knew the problem. I faced several challenges. I didn't survive 2 years. Then because I relied on other people to actually transform my ideas, and things didn't go as planned. The medical guy, I would advise you actually learn to code. That's just the bitter truth. Because everyone tried to dodge around the truth. You need to code, because even when it comes to relating with the coder, that's the guy who will write the code, you still need to know what tools will be best for the problem you have, and you need to communicate clearly on what has to be done. Then, so now on equity, 2 set of people. Other people who will help out with code, and of course, at the end of the day, we need money. And no one will take his own money, take the risk without something substantial. In fact, I've discussed with some investors who told me they don't believe coding should be worth anything more than 30%. So but that's their own opinion though. So equity that has worked for you, the equity split that has worked for you.
So the okay, exactly. So we went to YC, I'll say, after an MVP. So we had a minimum viable product. We already had a product that we thought we had. Now that I think about it, it wasn't a product. But we had people using it, and we were already doing transactions. It was very little, but and we were growing it weekly. So I think that's the stage. Second question around equity, I think we've talked about it today. I'll say it again. Equity is for the future. So the two kinds, like you said, there's the investor type and there's the talent co-founder type. So what has worked is, I think the way we divided it in the first day. I don't even know how I figured it out. The way we divided it in the first place was there's founder equity. And then we kept about 20% for employees and advisors, something like that. So that way, there's no dilution when there are new employees. So my thinking is, as you think of your co-founder, the real work is, it's not about the work you've done. It's about like the future involvement. It's about what is next level? I keep saying next level because I think founders need to be very clear about what the next step looks for them and their business, and try as much as possible to get there very fast. So figure out what your next level looks like. If there's someone that can help you do this easily, then you offer them equity. That's fine. So that's how I would think about equity. For investors, your early investors should not really have a lot of equity, because
to get to $1 billion company, there's going to be multiple investors. Like YC is going to take 7%. Then you're going to do seed round, maybe another 20% dilution will happen. You're going to do a Series A, another 20%, 30% dilution will happen. You're going to do Series B, do Series C, Series D, Series E. So if you give 40% out in the beginning, then of course there's a problem, you know. And also, the work of the investor is not, you have to realize that the investor is just seeding the business. Like, you are the founder, or you guys are the founders, it is your business. You know, so people were asking, and I was like, the reason why companies and founders have equity, a lot of equity, is that when somebody gives me $8 million, that's about 3.3 billion naira, I will have to choose if I should take the money and run, or if I should use it to grow my business. Because it's a no-brainer. Like, if you have equity in your business, then you have to grow your own business, because otherwise you will really, like, you know. So it's important, and investors, especially later stage investors, understand that the founders have to be rightly incentivized before you can even invest in them. You won't invest in a founder that just has 10% in the business, because once you do make that investment, founder is thinking about how to use that money to make his own, exactly, start another business, exactly. But if the founders have enough equity, and the founders have common sense, they know the work is to use that money to 10x, to grow the business, so that their own part, their worth, can grow substantially. So I think that's the answer to that question. What's next? So many questions. Okay, yeah.
Hi, good day. My name is Bolaji.
Hi, Bolaji.
I wanted to ask to see the lady that spoke about edutech.
Okay, that's Stephanie.
Hi, I wanted to say that with edutech, the thing is, from what I didn't know there were that many people in the room. So you talked about how you're looking for people to, you're bootstrapping. So you're looking, and the misinterpretation is that Nigerians think that to start a business, the first thing is funding, investors, or you need people to put money in it for your idea to run. And I was just watching a documentary like 3 days ago about the topic, and it turns out that your investment, like investors and financing, is the fourth most important thing in starting a startup. The first thing is your idea. Does your idea make sense? It could make sense. Does it make sense in Nigeria? Does it make sense in the UK? Does it make sense? Where does it make sense? The second thing, and the most important thing, is the timing. Is it too late? Is it too early? Is the time just right? Uber is $1 billion startup now. But 10 years ago, if somebody came up with the idea of Uber 10 years ago, would they still have run? So you have to also forget what everybody else is saying about the industry or this. Is your idea right for Nigeria? If people want it, they would get it. And funding isn't, I feel as if your idea is that good and the timing is that right, funding isn't something you're going to have to look for. Funding is going to come to you. You're obviously going to do your marketing, you're explaining to people, you're driving your idea, but funding should come to you. For the lady that said, the lady that's into, was it toys? I'm not sure. Sorry. You spoke about how you need people to, it's hard to invest in, I don't want to put it as people don't take you seriously, but it's just hard. It's not a fintech, basically, that's what you said. And I think the problem is that you're looking for people to work for you. And you should look for people who want to work with you, people who are willing, people who don't look for don't look online for developers. Don't look online for developers. Look for somebody who wants to run the business with you. I'm not asking them to give you 50% equity, but look for somebody who has the same vision as you. That way, the person is an employee. The person is also a founder. The person has the same vision as you. And the first 5 people to enter a business are ultimately the most important people. The founder is the one that has the vision, knows where they want the company to go to. But ultimately, the people you hire, that's why when he said something about settling, don't settle for less because you want to meet a particular demand at this time. Look for the people who would actually make this company worth it. I currently have my own business, and when I look at it, the people, everyone they hear your idea is blurring. They want to, can I have a share? They don't even know what shares mean. They want to have a share, they want to invest, they want to this. But ultimately, the people that actually make my company grow is people who see what I see. Like not people who see $50 billion in 10 years. People who see what you want to do in 5 years from now. So that's all I have to say. I'm so sorry.
Hello everyone, my name is Annie. First of all, I want to say thank you for your customer support service. It's really been awesome. I'm receiving a lot of emails from, is it Seke or Seke? I would like to... Oh, okay. Okay, when she comes, you just tell her thank you for it. I think my first two questions have been answered along the way. Verb on piggy bank is not recurrent. I don't know why.
When last did you try
Verb, why is not recurrent?
When did you try that?
3 weeks ago, I think I was trying to say. It hasn't been recurring since last year.
Yes. We launched Verb recurring for a few banks. I think there's just about 2 or 3 banks that we don't have. So there's an issue. There's a bank dependency on recurring billing. So they have for most of the banks, but I think there's just a few banks that don't have. What bank do you use?
First Bank.
Okay, maybe it's First Bank.
Also, I want to know, do you guys accept partnerships with other businesses? Okay, like there's a business model I'm working on that to charge each customer as low as 3 naira. How do you split that? 1.5% of that, or do you build special APIs for small amount of money like that?
No, but 1.5. Okay, that's true. 1.5% of 3 naira. 0.03. Okay, no, I think code handles it easily. Honestly, I don't know the answer. Okay, what's the answer? What? Oh, but there's also a minimum amount. Yes. Okay, so I think we have a minimum amount on Paystack. 100 naira. Yeah.
So that means Paystack can work for my business.
For now. Or we're happy to talk like about the
possibilities.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I think I'm done. Okay, then the last one will be a bit more personal because I just want to get myself more inspired. How old are you guys?
Okay, can you make a guess? Take a guess.
10 years ago from Babcock, 30s, but you guys don't look like it.
Okay, I'm 33.
I'll turn 33 at the end of this.
I'm balding, so he's 33, I'm 29.
How old are you?
I'll be 24 October.
Okay. It's a grace of God.
And lastly, for fintech products like piggy bank, now you take out 1.5% of that money. Okay, let's say 1,000 naira, you're taking 150. It's 15 naira. Okay, so the money, does it drop directly to the bank's account, like the partner bank? And then we have to reimburse the bank because the customer was actually saving 1,000 and not 850 naira. So how does that work out?
Like how does settlements work?
Yeah, I really want to balance the bank later. Or
No. So if, for example, you charge 1,000 naira, Paystack will pay you 985 naira. Yes, and then we will keep the 15 naira.
So that means I'm the one the bank.
Exactly. Like your model, you are the one that would figure that out. Yeah.
But it sounds like at the core of it, you're very curious how to make something like a piggy bank work.
Yes.
It sounds like I would highly recommend you speak to IK right behind you. He's a product specialist. A product gets you like into the details of how to make it work.
All right. Thank you very much. And that'll be all for now.
We have 9 minutes more. I know there's so many people that still want to ask questions. I wonder how to manage it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a developer and I'm not interested in working in Google, first of all. Because I think the problem we are having is because we are startups and we are not able to pay developers well. Because in between your passion and your passion and where you are going to actually and your passion, you find out that you can't do it alone. Now, the person you are calling also has passions, and they are just like a potential customer, so to say. That is why you need to educate them. Like Paystack does. Like I read your emails like as often as you send it, and I realize they put a lot of effort into the product on daily basis. So now, I'm a developer, and I can't take those installs you guys are giving to Nigerian developers as a whole, because the project you asked me a question initially, and I said I signed a non-disclosure agreement to what I'm working on. Now, my client just found me on LinkedIn, and he called me, and we just got chatting. At the point where he saw that I could see what he is seeing in the business, that is why he hired me. And I was even the one that was like, oh, guy, be careful, don't let them do you Lagos thing. And he is a lawyer. He came up with a non-disclosure agreement which I signed. Sure, you understand. So you, first of all, they've said it several times. You have to find someone that sees the vision. And from what you said, sir, you're talking about transparency. I think that is what really helped, because he was talking to me, telling me everything. And I was like, oh, this guy is a clean guy. And in the core of your being, actually, Shola, you are a very clear person, and you know where you are going. Sure, you understand. You make yourself as open as you can be. Sure, you understand. So that was the same experience I had with this guy, and I also just gave out myself like as open as I could be, and then he was not afraid to put money into my bank account. You understand? That is where his rules. Because honestly, the people we are talking of developers. I'm a human being. I have bills to pay, and if you want me, if you want me to keep spending my time, which is my life, on your passion, do you understand? There's a price to pay for it. Now, I work with I normally consult for Kusant. Kusant is just a company that solves this problem we're talking about. They have a lot of developers in their company. So when you come and you explain your idea to the company, they get developers for you working in the company with that specific, with this, in a specific period of time that they'll give to you, so you understand, to build your product. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because we always narrow software development to only developers' job. Now we are talking of you need your product to get delivered at a particular time, which is not the work of a software developer. A project manager does that for you. So it's more than one person's job to do. And for the lady that's talking about internship, I won't recommend someone that an intern for you, because I've consulted in a company before, and I was talking, the intern there just disappeared. And yeah, because when I started chatting with him, that why did you do such a thing, because he didn't write any letter, he just went because he found a better offer. Sure, you understand? Now the reason is because he came to the company just to get knowledge. Do you understand? So that's where, from what he said, that the person that you are hiring must see himself in the vision. It's very, very important. Yeah. Thank you.
Finally. Yeah. Hi, Shola.
Hi.
My name is Yomi Obajo. I am a co-founder of my lottery hub. It's a lottery platform, right? I remember when I met you back then, and I told you that we wanted to do something about gaming. You said no, that you are not considering that yet. So I want to ask some questions. I want to ask some questions. The first question I want to ask is, we bootstrapped, right? It's been 3 years now, and I want to ask one question, which is, if we try to get to Y Combinator with a gaming platform or a lottery platform, like you said earlier, that they're open to all kinds of businesses. I hope I won't get the same rejection I got from you initially. And it's been 3 years also that our transactions are building gradually. We just want to create a platform where people, like everyone seated here, does not see lottery or lotto or some sort of gambling as what is being associated with some touts or kind of people like that, where everybody can enjoy Lotto. So my question is, can a gaming company get into YC? And two, we also have a lot of requests from Ghana. You know, we have people wanting to pay for our services there, Togo, Burkina Faso, and things like that. But we don't have a platform to receive their payment. Is Paystack available for such transactions?
Okay, so first question, sorry we said no then. Now we actually do very well with probably we do very well with the lottery and gaming industry. So we have Naira Bets, Winners Golden Bets, Mary Bets, Betway. So we have, I think we're probably doing very well in that place now. So happy to talk to you. And also that's also what I said, like in the early days, like it wasn't, we had to just keep going. We knew that betting had its risks and we didn't want to. I'm excited to be part of this generation. I'm excited that we are now solving our problems. I'm excited because I know that we will all be successful and in different ways. Success might not just be raising $8 million. Like success will come in multiple ways. And I've seen this. I've seen people that came here last year. They've done demo, they've raised money. You know, and it happens in different forms. So I think the Paystack story, which I feel like you should get inspired about, is that the fact that 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't think that we'll be here. Like I said, last year, there are companies that probably didn't think they'll be here. You know, so I think it's exciting. The work of the founder is to hustle, keep hustling. It might not be obvious that there's going to be like progress, but just keep hustling, keep looking for that progress, keep thinking about what the next level looks like. And sooner than later, we'll all get to like, that next level. So thank you so much, everybody.
So once again, we are still going to be around. Like our day is yours. Like the point of doing this is so many problems that you might have, someone might have solved, even the person next to you. So number one, strongly encourage that before you leave, please get to meet each other. It's very important. Number two, we have snacks outside. So as soon as you step out either through here or through the back, we have a tent set up, so you can eat something before you leave. And then finally, we are still here. Like if anyone who has a Paystack shirt, please feel free to ask any questions concerning your business and concerning Paystack. We're here for you. Thank you so very much once again. Thank you.